longevity.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
It's Monday. Do you need some Monday motivation? The Shop Local for Good News team is here. I'm Karena Morrison, and we're bringing you the good news stories of our neighbors doing good in our neighborhoods.
You can find us on Facebook Live on the Shop Local for Good page, and we're looking forward to your calls.
Let's get this Shop Local for Good News conversation started, shall we? Happy News Monday Motivation. I'm Karena Morrison, your host for the day, and we have a packed show for you. We actually have a special guest today. It's my dear friend Ben with Bowls for Good, which is a local nonprofit. But before we start our conversation with him, he's got lots of exciting stuff to tell you. Let's give a shout out to our sponsors. MarketSpace for Good is located at 6785 46th Avenue North. MarketSpace for Good is an entrepreneur incubator where we showcase, and it's also run by the Shop Local for Good team, and we showcase a lot of family businesses and their products in the community. And we also encourage our neighbors to connect with family-owned businesses that are offering premium products, and they're actually helping to support worthy nonprofits in our community. Later on in the show, we're going to have a drawing for our local loyal shopper reward program. How that works at the MarketSpace for Good is each day that you come in and you have the joy of adventure in shopping and you purchase something from one of our family-owned businesses, you get an entry into the weekly drawing. And this week's drawing is being sponsored by Numa Nursery. And they actually sponsored it with a basket of their products were valued at $60. And so you'll get to know a little bit more about Moringa. And we're going to have Kendrick call in later in the second hour. So he'll be able to explain what the Moringa Growers Co-op is about and what the product does for your body. It's good stuff. Mm-hmm. And then we also have the Benevolution Foundation, which is the nonprofit arm of Shop Local for Good. That also helps to sponsor the show. And we're looking for more sponsors. So if you're interested in being a part of our Shop Local for Good news family, feel free to go to Shop Local for Good's Facebook page, or you can email me at karena@shoplocalforgood.com. So the first block is our Benevolution Foundation block, and today we have Ben Farrell with Bowls for Good. Welcome to the show, Ben.
Hi, thank you for inviting me, Karena.
You're welcome. So I want to explain to those, I want everybody to know what your mission is about in the community. But first of all, how'd you get started with Bowls for Good?
I was working for a machinery manufacturer that makes wooden lathes, or wood turning lathes, and I had just gotten out of I had just finished with a political campaign 2012 to run for state representative.
Okay.
And during the campaign I found lots of problems that needed solved, mostly with kids and schools and hunger, and I was able to work with this machinery manufacturer to start doing some community outreach. And it got so big, I had to leave them and start
wow.
on our own.
So Bowls for Good, what you do is tell our neighbors how they can be involved, because I really love your program, because you're feeding hungry families, which makes me happy.
Well, what we do is our mission is to cover two things. One is we take the woodworking machinery out to local at-risk kids groups, like Police Athletic League and our club and Boys and Girls Club, and even the youth ranch to work with the foster kids. So we bring machinery out and they get to make things for themselves. But we include the community because the kids need to see people in the community and how they are, how they work, what they do. So we have a studio in St. Pete where people come as a group of friends or as team building with work, or we even have monthly just open house workshops where you can come and you learn how to make things, and then you can come out with us and work with the kids.
Okay, good. So you're training your volunteers, because some people, when they want to volunteer in the community, they're like, I don't know if I know how to do that. I don't know if I'd be comfortable. So that's good that you offer training.
Right. But we also get donations for the pieces that people make when they come to learn. And the money from that goes to a program we do with Feeding Tampa Bay. It's part of Feeding America. And it's a mobile food pantry program. So what Feeding Tampa Bay does is they'll load a refrigerated truck with 10,000 pounds of food, advertise in a food desert, or down market part of the area, and then come out and in 90 minutes box up the food and hand it out to sometimes 300 or 400 families.
Well, I'm not sure if many of our neighbors know, but we have several food deserts I know of two in Pinellas County. One's the North Greenwood neighborhood, and the other one is in Lellman.
Sure, and we've been to both.
Yep. I know.
Thank you. Oh, okay.
You do good
You've done
work.
your research.
You do good work.
Very good.
So, what kind of things can they make? So, if you have a business and you want to do a corporate get together and do good for the neighborhood at the same time, what kind of items can they make?
Well, as a team building project, the most popular one, oddly enough, is pens. So it's a really nice pen with a wooden insert, and you make the wooden insert on the machinery, and you can do that out of some really interesting exotic woods, or we get local woods that were trees bound for the dump to be turned into mulch, but some of them are actually exotics themselves. Like we just got in an Indian rosewood tree.
Oh wow!
So the wood is absolutely beautiful. There's mango, there's sycamore. There's a lot of interesting woods in the area. So you can make pens, bowls. We can do wine stoppers, magic wands. It's a lot of very interesting, even duck calls.
Fun.
But the skills that you get just doing that, you can come out. It's very, very simple. And then you can work with the kids, and it's a really interesting exchange with people in the community and these kids.
I love how you made it to where the kids can connect with leaders themselves too.
Sure, but even somebody who's working in an office, or just anybody who's working and supporting themselves are a good example for these kids, because some of them really don't know what's next.
Right.
They're just going day by day. And if there's somebody who's in an office or working fast food and supporting themselves, and how do you actually make a life while you're working on the machinery? You
That's
chat.
pretty powerful.
And while you're making things, you're in a different space in your head.
Right.
And the kids become really open to just chatting. And they see that there's a way to get from where they are to where they can have a job and have a family and have a car and have a life.
Well, and that's part of my passion, is to get people to understand that just a few minutes of your time, a few moments, or an hour in the afternoon with the Bowls for Good team, a couple hours, can really make an impact in a child's life, like for a lifetime.
Sure.
So that's pretty powerful.
Yeah.
Now you have got some interesting projects coming up, and you need some volunteer help.
We could definitely use some help.
Okay.
So we've been taking the wood and the machinery out to the kids, and they've been making, let's say, a pen that they can take to school, and on a bad day pull it out and say, hey, that was a good day, or I can't do this, I'm getting yelled at, but I did this. So it gives them some self-esteem right in their pocket. But we talked to some ministers and on the south side, and they said, if you can get wood from Africa, it would really be meaningful to some of the African American kids. And frankly, you can go to one of the specialty stores and buy that wood. But what we figured out we could do is go to different countries and find a children's charity and get wood from that area and do a pen pal program. So the first one we're working on, Rwanda, in Kigali, Rwanda. And we found a furniture maker who's actually a 27-year-old Dutch woman.
Oh, wow.
Who's lived in Kigali for 7 years. She makes beautiful furniture, and she supports a charity, and it's women with their children who've escaped violence, and they set up a sewing kind of commune, and they have the kids there with with their schoolwork. So she's shipping over some cedar.
Okay.
The kids here, probably Police Athletic League, is going to make the pens and have a piece of wood, a thing from Rwanda, from Africa. But they've also sent a video, and they're going to send a video with the kids. So each one of our kids here is going to make a pen from Florida wood for a kid there.
Okay.
And we have a little laser engraver so we can engrave their names in it. And they'll write a letter and to the kid, put the pen in the envelope, also put in another envelope with their name and address on it with a stamp. So it's easy. So it's super easy to get it back.
Right.
And ship all that stuff off. And hopefully we get a letter back, and hopefully the kids, connect. But we're also, with that campaign, we're raising, I think it's like $300 or $400 for a sewing machine for the women's group, and then books for the library for the kids.
Wow. So you've taken the Pen Pal program to a whole new level.
Yeah, make the pen.
They don't even have to look for a pen. That's awesome.
So we have about 6 of those in the works.
Okay.
3 are in African countries. Some are in Britain. Some are in different parts in Europe. One's in India. And what we're looking for is a person who would like to be like the point man for each one of these campaigns. So if you'd like to work with a group in Scotland, you'd handle all just the correspondence.
Okay.
And we have like a checklist of things we need. Now we need a picture of the furniture maker holding up the wood that they're going to send. And now we need a picture. So
nice.
It's interesting. And if you do one of these campaigns, if you spearhead one of these campaigns, you develop relationships with these people. And the cool thing is we have one just starting in Uganda. The cool thing is if you want to go on vacation, you go to Uganda. You
have friends there already.
You have friends there. And instead of when you get off the plane, instead of saying, all the tourists get on the bus and we're going to go. And they say, hey, listen, come on, let's go. We're going to lunch.
Yeah.
So now you have buddies in another country.
So you're making the world just a little bit smaller.
A little bit.
That's cool.
Trying. Bringing
the neighbors together just across the seas. Sure. That's very cool. So what kind of skills, what kind of would they need to have?
Somebody who would be in charge of one of these campaigns, all they would need to be able to do is write emails.
Okay.
And be somewhat organized. So they run over a period of about 2 or 3 months.
Okay.
And it's an email, every couple of days, and just keeping up with it. The problem is when there's 6 of them running at the same time, it's hard.
Poor Ben. I called him the other day and I'm like, can you share something on Facebook? He goes, I'm going to have to get back with you on that. So that's awesome. I'm so proud of you. And I'm honored to be your friend too.
Oh, thank you.
So we have an event coming up.
Yes.
It has to do with one of my favorite food. I think it's a food category, macaroni and cheese.
It should be. If it isn't.
Right. It's the annual Macaroni and Cheese Fall Festival. And I want to give a shout out to all 10,000 people who are interested in going to the event on Facebook. We just reached 10,000. 10,000. That's 5 times bigger than it was last year. So I'm really excited about that. And the way Shop Local for Good has developed it is part of our mission is to find ways to connect the community with worthy local nonprofits like Bowls for Good and get everybody excited about having an afternoon of deliciously family fun. And this one has to do with mac and cheese, and figure out a way to inspire people to get to know our worthy local nonprofit missions that we support, better and to help sponsor you. So we've set up a People's Choice Challenge, and Bowls for Good they're competing for votes. And how the votes work is you go to shoplocalforgood.com and you look up favorite local nonprofits. On the drop-down menu, it's underneath Play Local, I believe, and you will find Bowls for Good. You'll get to read a little bit more about their mission, and it also has a clickable link right to your Facebook page. But if you click on Vote Now, it'll take you to the place where you cast your vote. Now, each vote is $2. All proceeds, and it's a $2 donation to the Benevolution Foundation because we had to have one umbrella to foundation will end up donating, putting together grant money, and then awarding Bowls for Good a grant from all of your votes.
Very good.
From all the proceeds. So that's plus if you run your PayPal account through a 501c3 nonprofit, they charge you less fees.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Who knew?
I'll have to set
That's
you
why,
up.
That's why you're the
hook
man.
you up that way. So I really appreciate you coming out early this morning.
Oh, my pleasure.
So what else have you done? Can you tell the story about that Harry Potter one that you just did?
Oh, sure.
That looked like a lot of fun.
So, we have all different campaigns for these overseas pen pal programs. There was a guy in England, and he lives very close to Sherwood Forest.
Indeed.
So we wanted to get wood from Sherwood Forest. We thought that would be really cool. And there's a kids group right there, and it's a very down market. If he's listening, this is a very down market part of the area. So we wanted to get wood, and he's great on video, and he bought a Robin Hood hat and the whole thing.
Fun.
But it turned out he also got wood from Christ Church College in Oxford, from the main hall. They did a renovation on the main hall, and the oak flooring was really thick, old oak flooring. They pulled it all up, and he bought it. And the thing about it is that the Great Hall scenes in Harry Potter were shot in that main hall, so it's being sold as Harry Potter wood, because that's, when you watch the movie, you look at the floor, oddly enough, and that's what we're getting. So he sent over a few pieces, and we had a workshop where we made pens out of them, and they disappeared. They went really quick.
Nice.
So now he's sending over enough to make about 200 more pens.
Wow.
And handles for magic wands.
Okay.
So we're going to have another workshop, but we're also going to use that wood for the England campaign.
Okay.
So if somebody wants to run the England campaign, they're going to be working with him, and Scott Walker is his name. And if he's listening, he knows it. He looks just like Hagrid.
Oh, fun.
And sounds like him. And he's a great guy. And I can't remember the name of the charity, but it's a small kids charity on the coast.
So you are on Facebook, and it's Bowls for Good, not the number, but for the word.
Spelled out, yes.
Bowls for Good. And so what are you going to be doing at Mac and Cheese? You're going to have the lathe out there?
We'll have a lathe out there. We're going to do a demonstration on bowl turning. So we'll make some bowls out there. We'll be set up, so if people want to make some things, we'll have supplies, so you can make a pen. You can probably do bottle stoppers and magic wands and things like that.
Oh, fun.
Yeah, so you can come out and make something.
And on the event layout, I've got you near a power outlet, so you don't have to worry about a generator.
Excellent. Yeah, there's nothing worse than a generator.
I know. It's kind of loud.
Kind of loud.
Behind the scenes. Give you a little behind our neighbors a little together. You got to worry about things like
everything with us is power.
Yes.
But we only need one outlet.
Very cool.
We were just at a women's, it was out at the fairgrounds. St. Pete Times put on this women's kind of exposition.
Okay.
And that was a big issue. Was the power, snaking power on. but we were next to a vein center that they were actually doing Botox injections.
Oh,
like
wow.
2 feet from where the lathes were. and they let us plug in. They were kind enough to let us plug into their power.
Cool. Yeah, you're going to be next to the Big Kids inflatable bounce house.
Oh, good.
And then who else is around you? And then have you heard Folk University play with Mike Twitty and John Thrasher?
No.
Oh man, they're fantastic. They're going to be there entertaining.
Good.
And they're also, I voluntold them that, they didn't fight me much, but they're going to be 2 of our celebrity panelists that will be judging Best Macaroni and Cheese that day.
Very good.
Along with Eddie Adams Jr. of Porch Talk Radio and Edie Darling of Edie Darling's 3 is Enough.
Great.
So I met Edie. I was introduced to Edie through Pastor Karen of New Hope Church.
Mm-hmm.
And she's phenomenal. And she just had a women's conference. And Pastor Karen, I love working with the leadership of New Hope Church. They're just a phenomenal team. And so I was having a conversation with Pastor Karen about the event, because that's where the Mac and Cheese Fall Festival is going to be at their beautiful campus in Palm Harbor. Mm-hmm. And it's off of Riviera Road. It's 455 Riviera Road. And that'll be on November 3rd from noon to 5. And Pastor Karen's like, Karina, I need to connect you with somebody. So it's all about connections.
Sure.
And I love meeting new people. And so she introduced me to Edie. And Edie's just amazing. So Edie needed some help finding sponsors for her women's conference. And so I like to find unique ways to sponsor things. So
sure.
I got her some sponsors for that women's conference. And that was pretty powerful friendship that we started. So now, do you need people who are trained on the lathe, or anybody can come out to one of their events or set up an event at your studio and learn how to do it in an afternoon?
Sure. Yeah, you don't need to know anything. The cool thing about working on a lathe is back in the old days, chair legs and all these pieces were made by, and this is, I did my apprenticeship in Scotland, so they have a different system over there. But back in the old days, before World War I, it was all 10-year-old kids that did the work.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's not, it's definitely not brain surgery. So you can come in and in 10 minutes, you can walk away with a pen that you could go down to. Shapiro's down on St. Pete, by the St. Pete Pier on Beach Drive. They were carrying pens that somebody else had made that were exactly the same quality and they were good quality, but the same quality as the ones that the kids make.
Wow.
And they're $80.
Wow.
So an adult, and we work with some small kids, some little kids. So an adult could come in, knock one out, something to show their friends and really impress them.
Right.
And you can learn to teach it. You can learn enough to teach a kid in 15 minutes.
Nice.
So yeah, it's well within the reach of anybody. And so we can teach that, no problem, if you want to come out and work with the kids. The food pantries are very easy. Feeding Tampa Bay runs that. They tell you exactly what you need to do. And it's 90 minutes.
And you do those once a quarter?
We try to do it once a quarter. We're
how much money do you have to raise to do one of those?
It depends. It's usually about $3,000.
Okay.
So that takes 90 minutes to go through 10,000 pounds of food.
Wow.
That's a very emotional one. And then with the kids, it's also very emotional because the kids some of them have such sad stories that could be easily fixed.
Right.
With just a little bit of encouragement, a little bit, sometimes, a pair of shoes or, something like that. Or even, a pat on the back change a kid's life.
Yeah.
So,
you're going to make me cry on the air.
we do a lot of crying down there. Yeah.
That's so awesome.
Yeah.
How many years have you been doing this?
I think, about 4 years.
Okay.
Yeah.
And where's your studio located?
It's in the Warehouse Arts District in St. Pete, in the Seaboard train station where Marine Arts Center for Clay is. So the address is 420 22nd Street South in St. Pete. So right next to Three Daughters. A lot of people know that.
Okay.
It's a brewery, and across the street from.
We'll just give them a shout out, and I'll bill them later.
There you go.
That's fun. Now, I have an idea. I don't mean to put you on the spot, but what if it's like a larger corporation and they want to bring you out for the day? Are you able to do that?
Sure, we travel. So at the train station, it's a beautiful building. I think it's about 100 years old, big brick building. It's a really nice place to come. Bring your friends or bring your crew, and you don't really get dirty enough where you can't just go out into St. Pete for dinner.
To that brewing company that we
Sure.
just mentioned.
What we tell people is you build up so much good karma working there, then you can go, tie one on, get in a fight, and you're still even. You're probably still ahead.
Okay, I'm not going to recommend that.
But the venue is a beautiful place, but we are mobile, so we can come to anywhere.
Okay.
And we've worked. It's always good to work on a hard floor.
Uh-huh.
Like I said before, we need one outlet, but we've worked on carpet. We've worked in a state representative's office in Clearwater.
Wow.
In his office on carpet, and I think he
with the wood shavings going everywhere.
Just a little bit, but actually that was wood. Is it okay to say who it is?
No, because I don't know who you're talking about.
Oh, it's our state representative.
Oh, okay.
He used wood that was salvaged off a battleship, the USS North Carolina.
Oh, wow.
So we got this teak from the deck, cut it up into little pieces, and he made a pen out of it.
I have to explain radio rules. So I'm just going to explain to everybody.
Sure.
Because we're in election season, if one candidate or one gets like airtime, the government makes rules like these things that then the other candidate has to have equal airtime. And I'm not sure if I fall under that rule. So we're just like, I mention any names.
Just going to skirt the whole rule.
We're just going to skirt it all together. Okay. So you're competing for People's Choice for the annual Macaroni and Cheese Fall Festival. I do want to explain what each nonprofit is competing for too. Also, we are looking for elite door prize sponsors. So what the door prizes are is Shop Local for Good, and the Benevolution Foundation is reaching out to small businesses in our community to see if they would like to help sponsor the expense of the basket that your voters are going to be vying for with their vote. So that's available. If you want to connect with Shop Local for Good, we can send you the details on that. We already have one door prize elite sponsor. What the elite sponsor is, they're helping. What people don't realize is it costs money just to design the basket. Mm-hmm. So I want to give a shout out to our first elite sponsor, who I'm looking through right now. My notes. I'm going off I didn't even need my notes because I've known you for so many years. I'm like, I don't need notes for this one.
I know this guy.
Yeah, I know this guy. He's a good guy. You guys should meet Ben. He's a lot of fun. Our first door prize elite sponsor is the Sit Means Sit dog training team in North Pinellas, and they've selected for the door prize for their donation to the Benevolution Foundation. You get to select two nonprofits. So we have Pet Pal Animal Shelter covered and the New Hope Church Palm Harbor's Youth Activity Center covered. So if you would like to sponsor Bowls for Goods, help sponsor their door prize basket, please connect with the Benevolution Foundation on Facebook, or you can connect with the Shop Local for Good team and we'll get you those details. Something else that I wanted to do, because I understand how difficult it is running a nonprofit and trying to do get people to vote for you online and with the ballots and everything. We're also going to have the voting ballots, hard copies of them, available at the MarketSpace approximately October 15th. We had an issue with the paper. I ordered the paper and they sent me the wrong kind of paper. It's this flimsy kind of paper, and that doesn't work well.
That doesn't work.
No. So What I've also done, because I do things a little weird, is I've teamed up with each nonprofit, a group of the vendors that are going to be there. So they're also competing for things like Foodie Favorite and Tampa Bay Sweetest Treat and Favorite Local Shopping.
Wow. When
So,
do you sleep? You think up all this stuff.
oh, I don't sleep. I don't sleep, actually. So you on your team, on the Bowls for Good team, is Gabby Lyons with It Works. She's competing for Favorite Local Shopping. Now, the proceeds of all her votes will be donated to Bowls for Good.
Oh, great.
And then for Foodie Favorite, we have Backdrafts Wood-Fire Pizza. They're actually in Tarpon Springs, but they also have a refurbished fire truck, like an antique fire truck.
Very cool.
They're going to be right next to you at Mac and Cheese.
Oh, good.
Serving up their wood-fired pizza. And so votes for them for Foodie Favorite, that's called Blazin' 28 Pizza. The proceeds of their votes will go to Bowls for Good.
Oh, great.
And then
hopefully some of the pizza too.
Oh my gosh, your pizza is really good. And then give a shout out to Pam and George. They're serial volunteers too. They give a lot back to the community, and they're going to get a big kick out of meeting you. And then your third team member is Russell's Readers, and that's Amber Russell with Usborne Books. So everybody that votes for her for Favorite Local Shopping, the proceeds of their votes will go to Bowls for Good. So
I appreciate it.
I'm all about maximizing. So it's not just you going out there and saying, hey, you got a spare $2, which everybody has a spare $2.
Right.
But, it takes a little bit of pressure off of you. And so now all you have to do is share on Facebook.
Sure. And I might have another restaurant for you.
Yeah, that'd be fun. Well, or I can just drop them off. I'm sure your brother would get a kick out of that. Here's some hard copies. You sell these for me. Go ahead and
actually, that might be a good idea.
Sweet. I know. Go ahead and give Lenny's a shout out.
Yeah, we'll have to have breakfast there and soften them up a little bit.
Yes. Yep. I'm here for your fabulous breakfast. Ben is also part owner in Lenny's of Clearwater.
Yes.
It's a fantastic breakfast place.
Thank you. Yeah, Lenny was my dad, and he started the restaurant in 1980.
Yeah.
And in an old ranch house.
Yeah.
And it's been going pretty good. Unfortunately, he passed away in 90, and my mother passed away in 2012, and my brother has been running it ever since 1990.
I get a kick out of your brother. He's fun.
He's a funny dude.
He is.
He is a funny dude.
Oh, I was there. In fact, Linda and I were there when a national news organization that shall remain unnamed, just so we don't offend anybody, showed up for breakfast. You know how they do that?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
That was fun.
Yeah, it's interesting. We get a lot of interesting people in there.
Yeah. And then what you don't realize is the behind the scenes. You guys probably had to open it extra early for their news crew to set up, and then they do.
Yeah.
I know you put a call out to make sure that it was fair and balanced. The crowd.
Man, you're on the crispy edge. People don't know what you're talking about. They know what you're talking about now.
Right.
But yeah, we do a lot with the Phillies. Charlie, I can't remember the manager's name.
Yeah.
He would come in sometimes. He would schedule, I think, twice a season to come in he would come in at 6:00 in the morning.
Yeah.
And sign autographs and chat with people.
Wow.
It's really nice. The manager of the Phillies. And he would stand there till the last person shook his hand.
Nice.
We get people from Ruth Eckerd. Molly Ringwald was in one day.
Oh,
and,
fun.
When I was a kid, I had a crush on her. So I told her, and she said, "Oh, you want to sit down?"
That's so fun.
And she was very nice person.
Yeah, she was one of my teenage heroes.
Sure.
That's cool.
Breakfast it's interesting. Club. Yeah, it's interesting to see these people come in.
So Lenny's has been there since the 80s.
Yeah.
And you guys serve, and I want to give a shout out to your servers too. Is that politically correct to call them servers?
That's
okay. Phenomenal service. I've not once had bad service at Lenny's.
Good.
And I've lived here my whole life.
Good.
So I didn't realize you guys were open back when I was in high school. I just told everybody how old I was.
Oof.
I'm not ashamed. I'm over a half a century. I made it.
Well, for all the old Clearwater people, he had my dad had Sambo's in Gulf to Bay.
Okay.
I don't know if you remember that.
Mm-hmm.
And they sold to. It was a company business. It was owned by a guy named Sam Battistone.
Okay.
That's how they came. That's actually how they came up with the name. And he sold out to Motel 6.
Okay.
And all the managers left.
Oh, wow.
So my dad found that old ranch house up on 19, and all the help and all the customers just moved.
Wow.
It was really, and I was in boot camp at the time.
Okay.
And
thank you for your service.
Oh, thanks.
What branch?
Navy.
Okay.
Yeah. And when between duty stations, when I got out of boot camp and I was headed up to Great Lakes, I stopped in, and it was his opening day. It was really good. It was really impressive. Well,
and your menu is kind of unique too. Do you still have the gator omelet?
Yeah.
You have some pretty unique omelets.
Yeah, the gator omelet is one of the things, one of the ways where you can get gator that isn't like fried, and you can really taste it.
Right.
It's interesting. It's all alligator tail.
That's awesome. And then if you've not been to Lenny's, we're
doing an ad for Lenny's.
I want to get a free breakfast.
we'll get a gift certificate.
So when you get a basket of pastries too, those are nice.
Yeah.
Now, are those made locally?
Yeah, they're made in the back.
You guys make the pastries too?
That was one of the problems I had when I got out of the Navy. I went to work for my dad, and I had been a runner, and I used to run to work and run home. But the Danish come out of the oven at about 6 o'clock in the morning,
right?
And then the bacon comes out, and you smell that, and then the coffee's ready. And in 6 months, I couldn't run anymore.
That's fun. Okay. So we definitely want you to support Bowls for Good. They do a lot of good in our community, and you have partnership up with Feeding Tampa Bay.
Feeding Tampa Bay, we do co-fundraisers with other charities.
Okay.
And a lot of times we'll do that at Lenny's out in front when it's really busy.
Yeah.
We'll set up, and the other charity will come, and they'll promote what they do. Because people sit out there for half an hour and wait. Approximately
how many families does one of your outreach, the 10,000 pounds feed?
It's around 300.
Wow.
Yeah, it's really fast, well coordinated.
Right.
Feeding Tampa Bay they really know what they're doing, and it's really good food. I was really surprised. A lot of organic meat. We're putting English cucumbers in.
Wow.
Vine ripe tomatoes on the vine. Mm-hmm. There was one time where they had red peppers.
Wow.
And I can't afford red peppers, but we're putting 6 red peppers in a box.
Nice.
It's like, wow, that's great. But it's not just cans of junk.
Right.
It's really nice stuff.
Which means a lot to these communities, because if you don't know what a food desert is, a lot of what happens in a couple of our neighborhoods in Pinellas County is they don't have access to that kind of fresh food and good for you food. They're either walking a mile or two because their transportation is challenging too, or they're in an area where the only thing available is junk.
Right.
So bringing that resource in and introducing, some of the kids get it at school, but introducing the whole family to that concept of, and it really makes a difference with their health too.
Right.
Because if all you're able to get is the not so healthy for you food, that expands on the expense of living as well.
Sure.
So thank you so much for being here today. And I do want to encourage everybody to go to shoplocalforgood.com, and on the Play Local tab, you can find a favorite local nonprofit, and you will find Bowls for Good. So what else do you have coming up? you need help with the 6 campaigns that you got going
Yes.
overseas.
So if somebody's interested in that, just please give us a call or go on our Facebook page and send us a message. We have on the 27th of next month, which is a Saturday, we have an open house where from 10 to 2, where you can just show up at the art center, come down, see what we're doing. You can make a few pieces, see what you like to do, and that's a good introduction.
Okay.
And again, you don't have to have any woodworking experience. You'll learn how to do it, and you'll walk away with something really nice. But if you'd like to, if you have a group of friends and think, maybe this is something that we could do, I'd welcome somebody to contact us and just come down, do a little, exploratory, come down during lunch or after work, schedule it and make a piece and take it back and, to your friends or to work and say, hey, this is something we should do.
Do as a team.
Yeah. So like a one-on-one,
right?
An old-fashioned. Yeah.
So when they make their item, they can donate it back to you, or they can buy it themselves, or how does that work?
We used to do that. We used to have people come in and make bowls, and then at the end of the year, we'd have a big fundraiser.
I remember I've got a couple of those bowls.
And as you know, fundraisers are very time-consuming and expensive to produce. And what we found the first few years was we'd raise $2,500, and it would cost us $3,000, $4,000 to produce.
I don't think people realize
and
that.
Hours and hours and hours. Yeah. So we'd have to come up with like $5,000-$6,000. And one year, the representative from Feeding Tampa Bay said, "Listen, why don't you just do these mobile food pantries?"
Okay.
Which made a ton of sense because the money went directly without having to do a little show. But one of the problems we had is people would come in and they'd make a bowl and they'd say, "Hey, I want to take this home." And I'd have to say, "No, you can't. You have to wait." And if it was February,
my bowl.
If it was February, you can't tell somebody, "Oh, you have to wait 10 months,
right.
And hope that you get it and somebody else doesn't buy it." So now, you come in, you make a piece, take it with you.
Okay.
Take it right with you. Yeah.
So there obviously then there needs to be a charge so that you're raising money.
Sure. For the small pieces, pens and bottle stoppers and things like that. Right now, we're asking for a $25 donation for each piece. The bowls, we're doing like an 8-inch diameter bowl. It's a big bowl because it takes the same amount of time to do a big bowl as a little bowl.
Right.
But it's very time intensive. So it takes 3 hours to do a bowl. So we ask for a $50 donation for that. And we can only do 4 at a time.
Okay.
But with the small pieces, the pens and the bottle stoppers, the magic wands, we can have 20, 25 people up. And if it's your group, you can bring food and you can, maybe wine.
Right.
But making the pieces so quick, you can go work on the machinery, come out, show everybody, have a glass of wine.
It's a good networking event too.
It's very good with networking. So
all of those out there who want to put together a networking event for good,
sure.
Then they could. I love it that the name of your organization includes 2 words that I'm a fan of. For good, shop local for good, MarketSpace for good. So, and you were the first for good.
Was I?
Well, yeah. Bowls for Good has been around.
What's Bowls for Good? TM.
TM.
No, it isn't.
oh no! I'm not trademarked.
It may be now. Who knows?
Okay. So you are available on Facebook. That's Bowls for Good, and there is a contact us form. Is that still up there? It's only accessible if you're on a desktop or a laptop, though. We figured that out. We were played around with Facebook, and we remember when we added the on occasion I help nonprofits try to organize in the MailChimp sign up form that we added to it. We figured out it's not mobile accessible. Facebook.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Wow. You have to be on a real computer to access it unless MailChimp has changed.
Yeah, well, if you go on the Facebook page, there's a contact phone number.
Yes.
That's just my cell number.
Okay.
But if you message, we get right back to you.
Yes, you do. Yeah. Yes, you do. Okay, so we are once again, we're looking for sponsors for the annual Macaroni and Cheese Fall Festival. We have sponsorship available from as little as we've got the Passports for Good program. which is a personal leather keepsake personal organizer. It's undated, so it's good anytime you get it. And what I've developed is a way for small businesses to basically buy in at a budget that they can afford. So for as little as, I think it's $100 and a couple of $25 gift certificates, you can be in, it's 124. You can be in 100 of the publications, and they are going to be given away to the first 100 families at Mac and Cheese who get an activity armband. So not only will your full color business card promotion be in the Passport for Good, and a really nice thing that won't get thrown in the back seat and get lost, technically, hopefully. They'll be able to carry it around with them. It's a useful tool, and you'll be connected with it's helping sponsor the activities, because like you mentioned, the fundraiser, the festival takes a lot of investment.
I can't imagine.
Yeah,
Oh,
my company's already invested several $1,000s just in promoting it to get up to 10,000 people interested.
Sure. Yeah.
So, because some people you have to poke a few times. Hey,
I'm one of them.
even with mac and cheese, So what I want to do is have you, because I know you're going to have to run. I appreciate you getting up so early and coming in, but I want you to do a couple of these drawings for me.
Sure.
Okay, so first of all, we're going to do a weekly drawing for the MarketSpace for Good Local Loyal Shopper Reward. That's for this past week.
Okay.
There you go. You can pick a name. If you can get it up.
I didn't have my nails done this week. There you go.
Great. Awesome. Okay, so Nermina won, and she won this Newman Nursery basket with all the Moringa products. She's going to be thrilled about that.
Moringa's a big deal.
It is, and it's grown locally through their co-op.
Oh, very cool.
So here's what happens. Everybody from this past month that's come in and shopped, their names for the weekly drawings get put back in. And we're going to have a drawing for a $50 gift certificate for the MarketSpace for Good. So they'll get to come in and buy $50 worth of our family products that are available. They just need to contact me.
There you go.
Thanks. Keith Locke.
Keith
Locke.
He's a good guy.
He's going to be happy about that. So I'm going to put these two names aside because Karena has some memory issues on occasion.
Oh, I hear you. Now, Keith Locke, if you're listening, I really want to buy that Jeep of yours.
Oh.
He's been dodging me for a year.
He came out, Tom Cuba, and is there we have a local author showcase in there. It's a bookshelf. And Tom works with a lot of local authors that they have their own publishing company. And but Tom he's showcasing some local authors there, and he also did a workshop for writers. And Keith came out to the workshop. And just to give everybody a heads up, we do workshops on occasion. If you attend one of the workshops, you also get to enter into the weekly and the monthly drawings.
Very good.
So, and we have just launched a program. It's called it's a bonus program. So I have put together, and I'm going to send you out of here with some of them. I put together some flyers. So if you find you're going to have to do a Where's Waldo thing. Right. Some of my MarketSpace vendors have them with them. So they'll be out at their markets with the flyers, but it'll give you a bonus entry. So if you get the coupon, then you come into the MarketSpace for Good, which by the way is at 6785 46th Avenue North.
Yep.
You'll get 2 entries that week. And then it gets better. If you bring a friend, you get a bonus entry into the monthly drawing.
Wow.
So Keith, you could win $50 and shop there for whatever you want.
Right. Very good.
It's a gift certificate. It's not cash.
Oh, no, it's just as good. There's cool stuff there.
We have some cool stuff. So I want to thank you again for being here. I want to thank you for all you do in our community. I know it's a lot of work, and often you feel like you're probably a one-man show.
Yeah.
So let's get Ben some help, and then you
I
get
have to thank Yvonne Ekram for all her help. She's always there to help.
I like Vaughn. She's good people.
We have to get married soon.
You have to get married too. She's good people. You should marry her.
Yeah, I am.
That's good.
Yeah.
So, and we want to give a shout out to Lenny's.
And to Lenny's, Danny's probably there. Yep, he's there.
Awesome. And now, what are the hours and the days that Lenny's open 7 days a week?
7 days a week, 6 in the morning to 3.
Okay.
And then Danny's there at 8.
Okay.
Unless he needs to be there earlier.
All right.
And if you like old cars, he's got one of 2 great old GTOs that he drives up.
Oh.
His an old GTO convertible that he just got, and an old Chevy Impala.
Okay.
They're beautiful. Yeah.
And Lenny's, now see, I'm a Florida girl, so I'm going to give some Florida girls directions.
Mm-hmm.
If you're heading towards Tampa on Drew Street, you're going to make a right on the access road to US 19. And Lenny's is right on the right-hand side, right before you get on the big road.
Yeah.
The big road. How did that overpass going in help or hurt?
Well, while it was going in, we started doing a lot of work with the Phillies.
Okay.
So that helped. But actually, it's a really good thing for us because
slows everybody down,
and people know where we are.
Right.
So it's easy to get in. It's a lot easier to get in now.
Oh yeah, you don't have to worry about people running in the back of you going like maniacs.
Yeah, back in the old days, it was how many 6 lanes each way on 19?
Yep.
I mean, we lost a lot of parking lot, but still.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
I've had several cars totaled on 19 from people not knowing how to use their brakes behind me.
Oh,
so I can see the advantages of having, that's just an entrance ramp, so they have to go a little slower.
Exactly.
Yeah. Not 90 miles an hour. So we're going to take a little break, and we look forward to coming back, and we're going to have a couple of callers. Kendrick Henry with Newman Nurseries calling in, and we're going to have Tom Cuba call in too. So don't go away. Make sure to come back.
WTAN, Clearwater,
FM 106.1,
WDCF, Dade City, Tampa Bay, WZHR, Zephyr Hills,
FM 104.3.
Listen.
Canada stays in. Warren edges closer. I'm Michael Toscano. It took almost to last night's midnight deadline, but Canada is staying in the trade deal with the U.S. and Mexico, formerly called NAFTA. Christine Romans has more.
It's also NAFTA no more. It's now the United States-Mexico-Canada Agreement and updates the original 1994 trade pact. It introduces new rules for digital businesses that didn't exist when NAFTA was forged. It promises higher wages and labor standards for auto workers and gives U.S. farmers more access to Canada's dairy market. That was a huge sticking point during talks.
The trade deal has sent stocks soaring in pre-market trading on Wall Street. Dow futures have been up around 200 points. FBI agents interviewed one of the 3 women accusing Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh of sexual misconduct, but the White House insists it is not micromanaging the new one-week review. The death toll in Indonesia from the earthquake and tsunami is now 844, with 50,000 people homeless. Correspondent Alexandra Fields tells us emergency officials are preparing for the death toll to go higher.
They have dug mass graves for as many as 1,000 bodies right now. They are working desperately day and night to find people who may be trapped under debris, who may still be alive following that earthquake and the tsunami that it triggered. But this is difficult work. The locations are hard to reach.
Massachusetts Democrat Elizabeth Warren has taken a major step closer toward announcing a run for president.
For women to go to Washington and fix our broken government, and that includes a woman at the top.
Warren at a rally in Holyoke, Massachusetts. Autopsies are planned today on the bodies of 3 people found dead after a car explosion on a downtown street in Allentown, Pennsylvania. Federal investigators have been called in. I'm Michael Toscano.
Results may vary, not a solicitation for legal services. If you owe the IRS back taxes, payroll taxes, or have not filed your returns, the IRS will get you. They can take your property, take you to court, even put you in jail. With one call to Wall, you'll never need to talk to the IRS again. Our average client settles for about 10% of what is owed. We offer free face-to-face consultations in your local area. Call 800-727-0433. That's 800-727-0433.
Staples knows that in business, everything is urgent. You can't put off until tomorrow what you need to do now. You don't need to print sometimes. You have to be able to print at any time. Which is why at Staples, your ink and toner is always in stock and always priced low. And during Staples printing event, our prices are even lower. Right now at Staples, get $25 off any 2 HP toner cartridges, which is good because right now is when you need it, if not sooner.
Ends 10/6/18. Restrictions may apply. See store associate or staples.com/toner savings.
Hey, good Monday morning, Tampa Bay. Big Ed here on the Tan Talk Radio Network. Let's check in with Dave Anderson and see what your Monday morning commute's looking like.
What is up on the roadways for you this morning? Well, let's check it out as we motor about it. Pinellas County, we'll look at 34th Street, 56th Avenue, should be off to the side. Bridges are cooperative somewhat. Look at the northbound off the Howard Franklin Bridge, just about the airport exit for a crash. Checking out the northern end of Pinellas County. Looking okay right now, moving along US 19. Don't see any difficulties for us there. Tampa Road's looking okay. If you believe you've got what it takes to become one of Florida's finest, and you're up to the challenge of becoming a member of the Florida Highway Patrol, do it at beatrooper.com. I'm Dave Anderson here now with you on the Tan Talk Network.
Thanks, Dave. Look at your Bay Area forecast. Well, the calendar says October, but the thermometer still says June. We're expecting a high this afternoon, 94 degrees, believe it or not. Overnight low, that chilly 80 degrees takes the edge off everything, doesn't it? Actually, the rain chance is very low, only about a 10 to 20% chance today and overnight tonight in sports. Let's get the good out first. Congratulations, Tampa Bay Rays. They finished the season with a 90-win season. Absolutely excellent. On the other side, the Bucks stunk it up as bad as they could really stink in Chicago. The good news is Steelers lost last night.
Republicans appointed Donald Trump president, then changed vote count from 60 to 51 to pack the Supreme Court with Largo.com, Mondays 9 to 10 a.m. on the Tan Talk Radio Network. Don from Largo.com, Mondays 9 to 10 a.m. Tan Talk Radio Network. Liberty, equality, justice for all. The truth as I see it. Thank you.
Hi there, I'm Dr. John.
And I'm Dr. Lisa.
Do you have medical questions you never get to ask?
Now you can ask us.
After many years of caring for children and families, we've learned that the best informed families are also the healthiest.
Are you saying knowledge is power, Dr. John?
I am, Dr. Lisa, and since you're the smart one, I hope you'll share some knowledge with me and our listeners.
Let's do this then.
Okay, we hope you join us every Monday at noon right here on the Tan Talk Radio Network for the Doctors John and Lisa Show.
Listen online at tantalk1340.com.
Hi, I'm Lou Angelwolf, and I've had a lot of shows on Tan Talk over the years, but our latest adventure is IamHO.love, in my humble opinion, .love. It's about humor and aha moments, and of course, we share every week with our teacher into the exo-consciousness, Michael Merberg.
Yes, here you'll learn a little bit about the Tao and how the best lives are lived simply and with patience and compassion.
And we're waiting for you to listen in with us on Wednesday nights at 7:30 here on Tan Talk Radio Network.
Hi, I'm Dawn Reese. Expedia Cruise Ship Centers everywhere under the sun sale. Choose your paradise, soaking in the sun and setting your watch to the gentle rhythm of the surf. Yes, your tropical cruise could be just around the corner. Book yours now with Expedia Cruise with Dawn Reese. Free drinks, free gratitudes, $350 credit, specialty dining, $750 in savings, reduced deposit, and you can call now 727-871-7788 as I'm your vacation consultant and look forward to working with you.
WTAN Radio is proud to announce that local author and speaker Glenn Erickson will soon be a guest on Pat Z's Joy on Paper program. He will tell you how he got his start and how you too can become an accomplished writer, author, and speaker. Glenn Erickson has published self-help books as well as speculative fiction stories and novels. All of his books are available on smashwords.com and barnesandnoble.com.
This is the Tan Talk Radio Network.
It's Monday. Do you need some Monday motivation? The Shop Local for Good News team is here. I'm Karena Morrison, and we're bringing you the good news stories of our neighbors doing good in our neighborhoods.
You can find us on Facebook Live on the Shop Local for Good page, and we're looking forward to your calls.
Let's get this Shop Local for Good News conversation started, shall we? Good morning. I hope everyone's having a motivated morning. This is Karena Morrison. I'm with the Shop Local for Good News team. And I do want to mention a little bit, we're having a change in how the show's going to be managed. Lisa has actually been offered an opportunity. So she's taking a leave of absence, and we're actually going to be auditioning for guest host spots. What that's going to include is you'll have to come out to the MarketSpace for Good and meet me. I'm actually there Tuesday through Sunday, 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. If you want to send me an email to get the details before you travel to 6785 46th Avenue North in St. Pete, that's good too. And we can have a phone conversation. But I do want to meet you in person. The way that radio shows are put together, you might not understand. So I want to make sure that everybody that's going to be on the show is enthusiastic and that we meld together properly, because we want to put together a professional show that's also entertaining and motivating. So we have guest spots available, and we also are putting together an opportunity for you to be a guest co-host as well. So you can either be a guest host or a guest co-host for a month long. It's a good opportunity if you're thinking about being on the radio, like, hey, I think I might want to do that. There might be some challenges that you're unaware of, and I love forwarding on information that I've used. In my lifetime, I'm a serial entrepreneur and a serial volunteer. And there are times that I've jumped, and as Steve Harvey says, and there are lessons that I've learned. So passing along those lessons before you make the investment of being on your own radio show, it is a time and financial investment. But I also want to give a shout out to my producer, Ed. He's phenomenal to work with. He's a great guy, and he's a ultimate professional. And I really enjoy also working with Lola. She's always very knowledgeable about the industry and extremely willing to offer her wisdom to new radio hosts. And plus she's very fair on how she brings in radio hosts as well. So, however, we do have a whole month long lineup of my friends in the community that I've set up. So you definitely want to tune in every Monday from 7 to 9 a.m. to hear about our goings on in the community, and to get together and learn more about your neighbors who are doing good in the neighborhood. We do have space available as well for sponsors. We will showcase you not only on the show, it's a 10-minute interview, but you'll also be listed as a sponsor on our Facebook event, and you'll be memorialized on our YouTube channel as well. And one moment, I need to take a drink. The joys of live radio. I want to go into the one-on-one coaching sessions that Shop Local for Good is hosting. Pardon me. At the MarketSpace for Good, we are offering Tampa Bay entrepreneurs and nonprofit leaders the opportunity for a 1 hour one-on-one coaching session. Basically, that is actually with me. And what I'll do is I actually look as from an outsider's point of view. I review your website. I review basically your online footprint. But I go one step further because a lot of my experience has actually been out in the community and building campaigns in a face-to-face network of people. So I can give you that kind of insight into how to develop a campaign that will either build awareness or raise funds and build awareness for you. That is one of the Benevolution Foundation's mission, is to connect with 12 worthy nonprofit missions in our community for 2019. We are going to be opening up our grant application process on November 4th. So if you are a local nonprofit leader, I would encourage you to connect with the Benevolution Foundation's page on Facebook, or you can send the Shop Local for Good News team a message through our website at shoplocalforgoodnews.com through our Contact Us form. And in the subject line, please put the Benevolution Foundation so that we know what you want to do. Coming up a little later, we're going to announce our mac and cheesy winners, because one of my philosophies is I want to keep consumer dollars as locally focused as possible and reward people who actually help us spread the word. So we had a couple of drawings this week. One of them was I set a challenge for the mac and cheesy followers that when we reached 10,000 of our neighbors who are interested in the event, that I would draw a name from a certain group of people, the people who actually got a ticket on our Eventbrite page. Now, it's important to get a ticket. We have free tickets available if you don't need any of the activity armbands. Please make sure that you get your free tickets through the Eventbrite page, because our food vendors are going to need to be prepared with all their delicious food. And we've got some phenomenal food trucks that are going to be there. Like we have King's Bistro that's coming back. We also have Blazin' 28 Pizza that's coming back this year. And we have, who else do we have, Mina? You remember? Mina is my brain in the morning on occasion. So we've got some great food trucks out there that are going to be involved with this year's mac and cheese. We've got barbecue. Oh, I should have wrote it down. Anyway, they need to know how much food to make. So please, if you're not going to bring the kiddos with you and you don't need the activities, if you don't need the ponies or the bounce houses, because the bounce houses are for the bigger kids, but there's a limit on big kids. Yeah, well, there's a limit on big kids. 18 and under, please. You don't want you smushing the little kids. We're going to have a toddler zone, and we're going to have a big kids zone, because last year we had a rock climbing wall, an inflatable rock climbing wall, and we had the big kids that wanted to be in the bounce house with the little kids, and that doesn't ever work out well. So we've got 2 kid zones available for bouncy fun. However, I'm going to go back to my original point was, if you don't want to ride the pony, if you don't need a face paint, if you don't need to bounce in the bounce house, the music and entertainment and the shopping and the much delicious food, it's free to attend. However, we ask that you register with our Eventbrite page so our vendors know how much food to make. So we did reach 10,000 people who are interested in going, and we reached it on the same day that we were having another drawing, which was the early bird activity armband special. That it was over on September 30th. We still have a bonus for activity armbands. The first 100 families that get their activity armband will get a pass program. There are openings for small businesses in that program still. Basically, that is going to be a couple of dozen small businesses who are offering discounts to their premium local products and services. So, and it's in a beautiful keepsake leather personal organizer for the families, the first 100 families. You're going to get one of those as a thank you for getting your gifts early, or getting your tickets early. My teenager's in the corner today and she's laughing at me. So once again, we have the Entrepreneur Collaborative, Tampa Bay Entrepreneur Collaborative program that will also be launching in November. So if you are a local entrepreneur and you would like to learn more about that program, stop laughing at me, young lady. I want you to definitely reach out to me through Shop Local for Good. She got lectured on that. You're not allowed to make funny faces. That's funny. And now she thinks she's in trouble. You're not in trouble. So, I do want to mention that we had a wellness workshop with Healthy Start today. Yesterday we had it yesterday afternoon. I want to thank Deb Benoit. She called into last week's show, and she did a fantastic job on her presentation. You can find Deb's page on Facebook at Healthy Start, the number 2 and day. She's going to do a series of healthy workshops, a wellness workshop. And yesterday she dealt with some of the chemicals that are found in our homes. And the people that came to the workshop ended up leaving with some wonderful takeaway items and a folder that was a fantastic resource, by the way. She did a wonderful job, and she's going to be coming back in October. We also have Madhouse Mindworks with Lauren Bell. She is going to have another jewelry making website or workshop coming up at the MarketSpace for Good. By the way, that's at 6785 46th Avenue North in St. Petersburg. So pay attention to the MarketSpace for Good Facebook page, and you will not miss an event at the MarketSpace for Good. If you have a workshop, we do have event space available, and you want to connect with our team. It's a very reasonable rate, and you can be at the MarketSpace for Good for your workshop or your local meeting. So we are expecting a phone call from Kendrick with Numa Nursery and the Moringa Growers Co-op. And I do want to encourage you to connect with us if you guest host, co-host availability, and you want to connect with the Shop Local for Good News team. That's shoplocalforgoodnews.com. And you can put in there, I want to be a guest host. And then we'll get together and meet with you and just give you a little bit of insider information on approximately how much time it would take to be on for the week. What we want to do is have a variety. We want to have a variety because there's just so many good neighbors out there that I want to be able to offer the opportunity to be able to connect with our neighbors in the community, and the guest host spot is a really good way to do that. So let's give some social media tips just to give you a little bit of an idea on what I can offer during your one-on-one coaching session. For example, when you are sharing on Facebook, most people might not understand it, but Facebook has a way of deciding who in your network is going to see your posts. If you have a business page and you want to encourage people to share your posts or like your post, it's actually best not to use those words in your encouragement on your post, because Facebook actually looks for those words and it actually bumps those down in people's news feeds. So you want to break out the thesaurus and find other ways. And they probably caught on to me. I've been preaching this for a couple of months now. And so they may or may not have caught on. So I'm going to have to research that for you. But it is best not to use the words share or like in a written form. If you're doing a video, that's good. Another tip for your social media on your Facebook page is they also do a preference for pages who use Facebook Live or videos. You want to definitely keep your videos, if you can, under a minute, because shockingly enough, when people are scrolling through their Facebook news feed, if you don't capture their attention with something really interesting in the first 5 seconds, y'all, you have 5 seconds to do it, they're going to scroll on by. So much like the cute kitten videos catch your attention, your first 5 to 10 seconds is where you're going to capture their attention. So you want to do that. However, Facebook gives your page in your post a preference to show to the people who like your page if you include video in your formatting, in your outreach. And you want to, give your page a variety of resources. You want to help people understand more about your mission or your business in the community. So you definitely want to be interactive. So when you are posting on Facebook, don't just post it and leave it. You want to pay attention to your notifications. And when people share it, make sure to reach out, because it is a social media network. Your page will get a notification, and you want to thank your neighbor for sharing either your business opportunity or your nonprofit opportunity in the community. I do want to also give some tips about community activism. I have noted that some areas are less internet friendly. Some neighborhoods are less internet friendly than others. So oftentimes when you launch a new brick and mortar business and you're in the community, some of your neighbors might be a little hesitant on walking in the door and figuring out who you are. So what I want to encourage our brick and mortar family to do is pick a Saturday and do some canvassing. Now, this is the fun kind of canvassing. I've done all kinds of canvassing. Going out and introducing yourself face to face to your neighbors is a powerful way of starting to build a relationship in the community that you'll be operating. Much like many of our small business owners that I know who connect through the community through organizations that are business to business networks. I think it's a very good way to connect with your neighbors that are directly going to be supporting your business. During the summer in Tampa Bay or in Florida, it's often a challenge for small businesses because our northern neighbors leave. And I've heard stories over the years of businesses who struggle during the summer to encourage their neighbors to come out and help keep them in business. So just spending a Saturday morning, going out for a couple hours before you open, or a Saturday afternoon, maybe have someone watch the store for you, and going out and talking to your neighbors. You don't have to do it during the middle of the summer either. You can do it in the springtime, or, just have a conversation. It's all about having a conversation, because the goal here is to encourage people to understand that if you get off your keyboard and you go out and you build relationships with the small business owners in your community and you shop locally with them, you're empowering your dollar to do good in your neighborhood. Oftentimes, these small business owners are also helping to support worthy local nonprofits. If you're interested in knowing a little bit more about the business owners who are supporting nonprofits in our neighborhood, I want to encourage you to go to shoplocalforgood.com. We have a list of our current Passport for Good program sponsors at shoplocalforgood.com. It's on the Passports for Good program page. And we also have a list of the sponsors of the Macaroni and Cheese Fall Festival. I want to give a shout out to Ignite Chiropractic, Dr. Serrano with Ignite Chiropractic. And I want to give a shout out to the Fran Hosh Law Group and thank them for supporting. I want to thank them for supporting the annual Macaroni and Cheese Fall Festival this year. Fran Hosh Law Group is a returning sponsor, and I really appreciate her team. They're a pleasure to work with, and they do a lot for our community. And Dr. Serrano's team with Ignite Chiropractic is a sponsor, and they're going to be there, and their team is going to be offering free massages. So it's mac and cheese and free massages. Yeah, you've got to be there. So we are waiting for our friend to call in, and we might have to reschedule him because I have another caller that is going to be calling in at 8:30. It's Tom Cuba. So one thing that you have to understand when you're doing live radio, sometimes people get caught up. Kendrick works very hard in the community, and he does all the harvesting for the trees. So we do hope that he's doing well, and then we can have him call in on a later show. And so once again, we want to encourage you, if you're thinking about being on radio, connect with our team, and there are guest host spots available. If you're not wanting to spend as much time as a guest host, if you're a local small business, we do have very affordable sponsorship rates available for Tan Talk Radio Network. We also are for our show on Tanto Radio Network. We also have availability at the Macaroni and Cheese Fall Festival. There are sponsor booths available, and I see the lights going off. So looks like we do have a caller. Ed is working with the radio calling, the phone calling in. I hope that's for us. All right. So we do have macaroni and cheese sponsorships available if you want to be out there to meet our neighborhood, our neighbors that are coming out for the mac and cheesy fun. Is that a caller? Okay. Is he on the line now?
Yes, you have Tom on the line.
Thank you. Thank you, Ed. Hi, Tom. How are you doing this morning?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. So I'm so glad that you called to be on the show.
It seemed like you had an open spot there.
Oh yes, thank you. I appreciate it. So what would you like our neighbors to know about today? What are you up to, Tom?
Well, I actually am moderately prepared. I have 3 things that I'd like to cover, and then we can do whatever you want.
Okay.
First, of course, is my standard weekly plug for our live reading down at Sumitra in Gulfport.
Right.
Sumitra is a little espresso bar, wonderful place on Beach Drive and 29th Avenue Express Street. And every Wednesday, we have live readings of poetry or short stories. This coming Wednesday, it's going to be poetry, and our special guest is actually the mayor of Gulfport.
Oh, the mayor of Gulfport?
The mayor of Gulfport turns out to be a poet, and he's agreed to come and share some of his work with us.
Terrific. That's awesome.
Yeah,
you're going to have a local celebrity.
Well, last time we had the poet laureate of Gulfport, Peter Hargitay. So we're working on the celebrities. So you can come and be our next celebrity. How's that?
Oh, okay.
Okay. Anyway, that starts at 7:00, and we do it every Wednesday.
I'll do everybody a favor and read someone else's poetry.
Well, I've never read any of yours, so I can't really comment one way or the other. But anyway, the second thing I wanted to do is starting today, we've sent out a call for people who wish to submit short stories.
Okay.
And so we're putting together another collection of short stories, which people really seem to like the short stories, and I do too. But personally, I write more novels than short stories. But anyway, the call went out for the entire month of October. We'll be collecting short stories, and then we'll be making our selections. And you can submit a short story simply by sending us an email. We do prefer email as opposed to a Facebook transmittal. And our email address is Dark Horse Florida Publishing LLC @gmail.com.
Now, is Florida spelled out, or is that FL?
Florida is spelled out. And
Okay.
It's a long email address, but that assures that people are focused when they're trying to type it in.
Okay.
Dark Horse Florida Publishing LLC @gmail.com. And we'll be doing that and going through the selection process probably through the month of November, pulling it together, and we're looking at an early 2019 release for it. So, excuse me, I shouldn't do that on the radio, should I? Pop?
So that's going through. It's going to go through a selection process. So you submit your short story. What are the parameters for the short story?
We're looking at something, something less than 10,000 words. There's really no minimum, but typically a short story is going to run anywhere from 3,000 to 8,000 words.
Okay.
But if it's so short that it can be centered on one page, then it really doesn't qualify as a short story per se. It's more of a quip.
Okay.
So we're looking at somewhere between 3 and 8 would be a really good length, but we're also not going to select based solely on the length of the story. It's really about the quality of the writing and the creativity that goes into the story.
Okay.
Fine. So that's the second thing. I have no idea how much time you have reserved for me, but
You got plenty of time.
got plenty of time. Okay. So the third thing is, my friend Sebastian is working on his 12th novel, and it's called United We Fall, and that's a little play on the word, united we stand, divided we fall. But in this one, it's United We Fall.
Okay.
And he's decided to release it chapter by chapter.
Nice.
Much as you would, 100 years ago when they would have a chapter in a magazine, and the magazine came out every week or every month, and people would read the chapter, and it kind of draws out the experience of enjoying the book. But to get on the subscription, all you have to do is to send me an email, or send him an email, I should say, and that's a different email address. Although you could probably use the other one as well, but his email address is Sebastian@tomcuba.net, because I own the website.
Okay.
TOMCUBA.net. Sebastian@tomcuba.net, and just say I'd like to subscribe. And it's a free subscription. Cost to it other than having to send in the email. And it's an interesting story from what I've read so far. It's about what happens. I should say it's a dystopic, futuristic story.
Okay.
It's about what happens when the United States finally decides to kick the UN out of the United States, and the U.S. leaves the UN, and that kind of thing. So it's you can imagine that would be a fairly it would be a global game changer as far as the international politics goes and things like that. So that's what he's writing about. And so far, it's pretty entertaining. Anyway, so those are the three things. Weekly with Sumitra, call for short stories, and subscribe to Sebastian's serialized release of his new book, United We Fall.
Now, you had a competition going on, which we're going to rename for the next time because it sounded like a homework assignment last time.
Well, you suggested that, and I put up a poll on our Facebook page.
I know. It was my fault. Sorry. So, yeah, we're going to get a little more creative. I'm going to let you, the creative person, figure out the name. But it was a reading comprehension contest, and you have a winner. You want to announce the winner?
The winner is Bonnie Quick, and she has been notified, and And all she has to do is come in and pick up her prize at your shop there.
Terrific.
This is a good time for you to get the address.
It's MarketSpace for Good is 6785 46th Avenue North. And that's where the prize will be.
That's where it is.
And it's also where there's a really unique bookshelf there. Would you like to talk about that bookshelf?
Well, that bookshelf happens to be the one that belongs to me, sort of. And on that bookshelf, we have all of Sebastian's work, all of my work, and we have a few guest authors. One of which is Igor, and he's an interesting fellow. He worked as a translator at the UN in various places, and is originally from behind the Iron Curtain.
Wow.
So he's a fun person to talk with. And then, of course, we have Tracy's book, which is Homefront Cooking. And that's a collection of recipes that have been submitted by military folks. And along with the recipe, each of them wrote a little story that actually does fit on one page. And so she has a little collection of quips and short stories in it as well. And like I said, all Sebastian's stuff is there. He writes mostly mysteries and whatnot. And I have my collection of short stories that I did write, and some poetry and things like that. So and Haley Beck's new release is there as well, and that turned out to be quite a winner. Haley is a very interesting poet who has released a collection, and I think there's 35 or 40 poems in there, and very evocative kind of style. I like it a lot. Anyway, so that's what's on the shelf.
And that's what MarketSpace for Good is calling it, a local author showcase. So if you are
you had a different word for it. What I loved it. What did you say it was?
A local author showcase?
No, the word space or something like that.
Oh yeah, the space for words and works of art.
Words of art. That's what it was.
Words of art. Yes.
Yeah, I like that a lot.
Thanks. And so we are, if you are a local author, you can connect with the MarketSpace for Good, and we'll connect you with Tom, because when I wanted to showcase local authors, and realizing my limitations on knowing the community and what would and would not work, I actually have known Tom for quite a few years, and realized that he was with a local publishing company. And we met, and I told him about my crazy idea, and and he agreed to help me get it launched and see how we could build it together. So Tom is kind of my go-to guy for local authors and for the bookcase in the MarketSpace for Good, which is at 6785 46th Avenue North. So if you are interested in being on the shelf, you can contact me through shoplocalforgoodnews.com, and then we'll figure out how to showcase your local work of art, words of art. We do have a new author on there. She's Alia Ames. So her books are there, and they're actually autographed. It's a limited supply. We have 2 available. So, and she writes in a vampire drama genre. So, I wanted to thank her very much for giving the MarketSpace for Good Words of Art showcase. Okay, I'm just going to call it that. Local words of art. We could do that.
Well, I want to comment on what you just said. It's not that I didn't throw in with you because of our friendship, although it had something to do with it. I threw in with you because it's a good idea.
Oh, thank you.
Our economy and this country is built on individual creativity and entrepreneurship. And things have gotten so big with companies that I won't name, but everybody knows who they are, where a lot of people that I meet are afraid of failure, or are timid about about expressing their own creativity because they know they'll never be able to compete with these global giants.
Right.
And so what you're doing is you're providing a place where someone can stick their toe in the water and see if what they have is appealing, as opposed to the mass-produced stuff that you get at these larger outlets. And so I think it's a very good thing that you're doing, and I appreciate it.
Thank you. Well, it's a joy working with you. Plus you're a funny guy.
I am a funny guy.
You're a funny
I wish
guy.
I could write funny. That's the one thing I can't seem to get a grip on. I can do the scary stuff and the mysteries and the dead bodies laying about and everything like that, but I can't seem to write something that's humorous.
Well, because I think a lot of what has to do with humor is timing and facial expression. I don't know. I think
Could be.
Yeah.
And I do have an expressive face.
Yeah. Yes, you do. Now, you were thinking about also potentially, and this is just potential. We're just going to throw this out there to see if we can get some feedback on it. So oftentimes people are like, I have a book inside me. And you were thinking about maybe setting up the table and having people who are interested in telling you their story and you getting it on paper. Are you still thinking that might be down the line in the future? Because I personally think it's
The line. Unfortunately, I can't clone myself, and I'm not bilocational or anything like that. So
right.
My time is it's well spoken for at this point, because we're just starting our new business. You know, we've been in business for a little less than a year, and with the publishing company, I've been writing for 4 years, but with the publishing company, just less than a year. And so there's a lot of things that need to be done.
Right.
And but I think that's a good idea. It's one that I would like to do. We're thinking about calling it Tell It to Tom, and just have a person come in and say, okay, this is my story. And a lot of people can express themselves orally without being able to necessarily put it down in complete sentences.
Right.
So I wouldn't be, and it may not be me, it may be one of our other writers, but I wouldn't be ghostwriting their story. What I would be thinking of doing here is just telling their story as it was told to me, but structuring the way it goes. And the other thing we're thinking about doing, again, this goes along with what I said about your idea with your shop, is that there are a lot of people who have a story in them, as you say, and they don't know how to start. They don't know how to begin to write it down. So one of the things that we're hopefully planning on doing in the coming months is to have a kickoff workshop where people who are interested, who always say I should write a book, can actually have a checklist of things to do to get them to actually start to write the book.
And I think that's the biggest challenge, because I've been threatening to write a book for like 10 years.
Mm-hmm. And that whole restraining order thing,
Yeah. No, Karena. Yeah.
But it's whenever I think of things like that, back when I was a kid, a guy moved in next door to us. We lived in the country, so next door was like a half mile away. But and he was an architect, and he always wanted to add on to the house that he had just purchased. And he drew up the plans and did everything, and he never got started. One day, the parking brake on his car failed.
Oh,
and it
no.
rolled down the hill and smashed into the wall that he was going to have to tear down in order to put the addition on. I kid you not. And the next day he got his building permit, and I dug the foundation for him, me and my brothers. And so we had the thing up in framed out in less than a couple of weeks. And it's that you got to let the parking brake fail.
Right.
Sometime in your life. And that's the way you get started, is you just roll down the hill and crash into something.
Well, I do. I'm not sure if you heard the earlier part of the show. However, I have the monthly drawing for the MarketSpace for Good local loyal shopper reward program. And MarketSpace for Good, by the way, is located at 6785 46th Avenue North. And you had a workshop this past month. What, by the way, my daughters really enjoyed, and you had quite a few people show up. And Keith Locke won the monthly drawing. So if you attend a workshop at the MarketSpace for Good, then you also get to be a part of the local loyal shopper reward program, because there's, plus he bought something while he was there. Fantastic guy. He bought a book. So
that's right. I remember that. Yeah.
So Tom is.
You're going to tell him, right?
I am.
Okay.
I actually just Facebook invited him to the Facebook Live, but I will tell him because we are friends on Facebook. So a little bit about you, Tom. Also, you are also a you help people. You're a tutor, correct?
I do. I tutor at one of the local high schools. I do mostly high school.
Okay. And you tutor writing and math.
And occasional biology and stuff like that. Anybody who has a college degree should be able to tutor anybody who is in the 8th grade.
Okay. Hopefully.
That's my theory. It's not always true.
Well, I mean, I don't know. There's teachers, there's
just,
educators, and then there's, book nerds. So
it's more than tutoring is more than just knowing the material.
Right.
You have to establish some sort of a relationship, and there are motivational aspects in it, and so I said what I said before a little bit facetiously.
Okay.
If the student comes in and says, I want to talk about social studies or something like that, and you have 10 minutes to prepare and know what he wants to talk about, you can do that.
Right.
If he gets into factoring polynomial equations, then I think you need more than 10 minutes.
Oh yeah, this is Monday motivation. Let's not go there with math. I love math, but that just makes my head hurt. So,
well, there are things that you have to go back and refresh.
Yeah,
but it's very rewarding to take it at the beginning of the term, and they come in and mom and dad, they're saying, well, he's not doing well in this particular subject, and by the end of the term, you've got him where he's at least earning B's, and if he's good at it and you're good at it, then you can have him earning A's by the end of one term.
Well, that gives you a sense of accomplishment, and that you're helping a young person too.
Mm-hmm. Of course, anybody less than 50 years is a young person to me now.
I know. I'm with you. So just to refresh, you have the short story call,
mm-hmm.
and they are to connect with you how?
Send an email to Dark Horse Florida Publishing LLC at gmail.com.
Okay. And then you're available, and you're having the Gulfport Mayor that will be at Sumitra Lounge in Gulfport. 7 o'clock this Wednesday. And what's the address for
the exact address, but it's on our Facebook page, which is funny enough, it's Dark Horse Florida Publishing LLC.
Your social media managers could give you a big hug.
And but it's on the corner of 29th Avenue and Beach Boulevard in Gulfport, just 3 blocks north of the casino.
Okay.
And it's in a building that is shared with other entities. So but it's the beige and chocolate covered one.
It's right on the corner.
On the corner.
It's a beautiful little cafe. And there's this one drink that they make, and I could never remember the name of it. And what I love about their staff and the owner is you go in, and it's kind of like explaining it to a car mechanic what's wrong with your car, and they know what you're talking about. So I go in and the drink, the drink that it has some ingredients in it. I know the ingredients, but not the name. And they're like, I know exactly what you want. So, and I've only been there a couple of times. It's not like I'm a regular. Tom's like, yeah, I know, Karena.
I've tried a number of things, and what I like the best is they have it sounds weird, but blueberry pomegranate tea.
Oh, I'm gonna have to try that one next time I go.
It's really good. It's not overpowering at all. It's a very pleasant, low impact taste.
Now, is it a hot tea or an iced tea?
You can have it either way, but I like it iced.
Okay. The one I like is it's got ginger and turmeric in it.
You tell me about that. I'm not a big ginger fan, but
I love ginger.
The one on Gilligan's Island, I like that.
Oh man. Okay. Tom. All right. I do want to let our neighbors know that the reason why I'm not announcing the sponsor of next week's basket is because I'm going to get a little creative with it. We do have the local loyal shopper. When I say we, that's MarketSpace for Good. MarketSpace for Good at 6785 46th Avenue North does have a weekly drawing for a gift basket from one of our members. So I'm going to potentially do like a compilation basket that includes a little bit from a few of them. But I want to get their permission first before I out them on the radio. And I didn't decide this until just last night. So what you have to understand in the entrepreneurial world, and or what you learn really quickly, part of the pivot. So, and sometimes you are working until 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night, and you have an idea, and you technically can't contact people, or you could send them a Facebook message, Tom, at that hour, and then next day you get a fussy answer back that, hey, I have to sleep sometime. Hey, look, I send the message praying that you don't have your notifications on, or praying that you have your notifications on mute, and that I'm not waking you up. But
no, personally, I do not live on Facebook. I don't get it on my cell phone, for example. So if I'm not at home, sitting in front of the computer, I am not on Facebook. Okay.
Note to self, and note to anybody that wants to connect with you on that one.
Yeah, and I don't get email on my cell phone either. It's a way of partitioning my time so that I can be focused on what I'm supposed to be doing.
Wow, that's a good.
One of those people who walks around and every time the phone dings, you salivate.
Yes, that's a problem.
Well, I think it is, because and it's one actually that I've worked into a couple of stories. You can go to any restaurant and see this, or you can go to the library and see this, where you've got 4 or 5 people sitting around in a bar or a restaurant, and they're all on their cell phones and not talking to each other.
That's sad.
And there's actually a movement, I forget what the hashtag is, but a group of people that recognize this as a problem will go into a restaurant and they'll put all of or bar, and then put all those cell phones in a stack, in the middle of the table. And the first one who caves and answers their cell phone has to buy dinner for everybody else.
Oh, that's fabulous. Oh, I know who I'm inviting to dinner and suggesting that soon. What bothers me is when I see a table, a family, full, and every one of them has something electronic, and they're not talking to each other. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's I've even seen it in business meetings where, you have a group of people and they're supposed to be at a committee meeting or in a conference or something like that. And you can see them texting under the table.
Right.
And
okay.
It's no less rude than someone interrupting your conversation.
Exactly.
People are talking and somebody comes in and says, I need to talk to you. Excuse me, I was in the middle of a sentence. Oh, no, I need to talk to you right now.
Right.
It's the same kind of thing. It's just done electronically instead of in person.
also trying to make people more civilized. Full disclosure for anybody that's watching on Facebook Live or the YouTube newsfeed, my cell phone is sitting right next to me, and I was inviting some people while we were talking. So,
well, sometimes you have to. For example, I'm on my cell phone right now.
Right. I really appreciate that you called in. So you're going to put together a workshop to have at the MarketSpace?
I would like to, yeah.
Okay.
I don't have a date for it yet, but I already have. I have some topics, as to go over. One is, I think we talked about this, is character development. How do you really get into developing a good, strong character? And what are the tricks you use, and what are the things that you can do to do that? And it's interesting if you pay attention to it, you'll see how people do it. But it's something a lot of new authors have trouble with. Is how do I build this character? There's a lot of readers, they want to identify with, they want to feel like they're best buddies with this, with your lead character.
Right.
And that's what makes the story interesting. So,
well, and in your last workshop, you touched base on that too.
We did, just very briefly. The last workshop was kind of an overview of things that you can do, and actually it was an overview of why not to listen to the rules that other people put out.
Yeah, it was great. And
it was, and a lot of people are constrained by rules. When the problem with that is with whether it's art. Like my daughter had a problem with this when she's an artist, illustrator, and people lay out these rules that really they confine your creativity, and that's not what creativity is about. Creativity is about expressing things without confinement.
Right. Well, and what I want, we've got less than 1 minute, but so what I want to do is encourage everybody to tune in next week, because Tom and I are scheming behind the scenes on potentially having him on as a regular guest, and we're gonna have maybe some poetry reading, and I really appreciate your support in the community, Tom. And I also want to encourage everyone to go to the Shop Local for Good Facebook page, because we are going to be launching a pop-up gift shop at the Good Facebook page. The pop-up gift shop will be a rotation of local vendors each week. We'll have a group of new vendors with their handmade stuff. And so thank you, everybody, for tuning in this week, and we will see you next week.